Good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to be going through 5 more games I'm anticipating for 2022. Now, I'm not going to lie, these have come off of the Dice Towers B team, if you want to call them that, of Tom, Z, and Mike. They spoke through their anticipated list, and I got 5 more games that I hadn't seen or heard about, to be honest, and these are looking pretty good. Now let's just have a look at the list. There was 3 that came up on their lists that I had put on my previous one. So they were Marvel Dice Throne and Tenpenny Park. Z put both of those two on his anticipated list. Really hyped for Marvel Dice Throne to arrive. Did back that on Kickstarter. And Tenpenny Parks, just like Z said, looking like a bar and park style game. So that's going to, I'm not covering those. They were on my previous list, which I'll link and all that sort of jazz. The other one is Arceus, however it's supposed to be pronounced. I like the look of it. I don't know if it's a game I'll want to own, just want to play, and that was on Tom's list. So that was my slight crossover, and then these 5 are from their list. So let's jump in with, and in no particular order, let's jump in and have a look at Bardwood Grove. Now, this is an interesting game. It's from the same team, or designer at least, as Merchant's Cove, from the sound of things. I haven't played that, but I like the idea of it. So it's got a bit of everyone doing different things to it. Liking the look of it. I don't like to read into box covers too much, but with someone maybe doing bag building, or everyone doing slightly something different on their player boards or something like that, like Merchant's Cove. It looks an interesting board. The little sort of meeple people look quite cool. Let's see if we can get a picture of the board, because that did look quite cool. Doesn't look like there is one. This is all we're going to get. The snapshot here, it looks like quite an interesting board. Not quite sure what's going on, but with different cards / tiles on there, tokens and stuff. It looks interesting. It's certainly one I want to give a go, and this was one of Mike's picks. I think this was actually his number 1. Next up we have Ice, which is another one of Mike's picks. Now this is a game that I don't think I want to own, but I do want to give it a go. So it's got a very much a modular board, and apparently there's some worker placement style elements to it. I like the look of the actual box. I think it looks stunning. I think Z said in the anticipated list he thought it was almost a forgettable box. I don't think that at all. I think it looks a really nice, clean, interesting cover. But this is from a prototype, clearly. This is the board that they're actually playing on. You actually chisel away at the tiles, revealing the tiles underneath. And that, to me, that sounds like a really interesting... It sounds really painful to set up. Because, are you setting it up blindly? Are you trying to set it up blindly so you don't know what's going to be coming up? How that all works, I don't know. And just setting tiles up like that sounds like it's going to be a bit of an annoyance. But I like this concept. I want to play it. I maybe don't want to own it or set it up. But it looks good. And, some of the artwork that's gone into this... certainly when here we go. Here's some of the tiles. They really make it feel icy. They look right. Someone's exploring into this. With the little rope and the stuff. The encampments. So these are all like on the surface, and then you get these artifacts underneath that you've maybe managed to sort of chisel away the tiles in the ice and get down to. So it's an interesting design. An interesting look, I should say, more than design. And it's certainly one I want to maybe give a go if it is at, say, UK Games Expo and I get to go to that. It's one of those games where I would stop and not walk past. So next up, that was from Mike as well. Jumping over to one from Z. Now there is very little about Unconscious Mind apart from who's doing the artwork. But it's kind of the artwork that got me interested. So there's set collection in this, there's end game bonuses and stuff like that, but it's going to apparently have some of this incredible looking artwork. Let's zoom in so we can have a better look. So you've got like this real mixture of the two artists doing kind of the logical real stuff, and then the, I'm going to say, just call it like Dixit weird dreamy kind of fantastical artwork. I really like, I think I prefer the dreamy mystical magical artwork more. Like that, it's just there's something about images like this that I think really captures me, and any game that can utilize artwork, I think, gets me on board a little bit. Now hopefully it's not just a game where, you know, it's another card in the deck and actually when you're playing you don't even look at the artwork. I'm hoping it's not completely like that, but even then it looks stunning. I don't think anyone can deny that. I'm not sure if this is getting kickstarted or not, but it's an interesting one that I would say I want to at least check out. Next up is Age of Rome. So this was, let's have just a check on my list. Age of Rome was another one by Z. Sorry, Tom, you're not going to feature on this list too much. Age of Rome is, it's mostly from the central board that has got me interested. So getting past the box cover and some of the people, you can just see it here. Maybe there was a better picture before. In the middle there's this central circle board that is going to be spinning round. You've got action spaces for, to place workers. It looks like maybe plenty of different tiles or cards. Here's the board. So it's getting kick-started as well, unfortunately, almost. It's that means it might not be a 22 release, but you know, all of these different spaces actually, you know, when you're moving the board round on that central axis, so it's moving the spaces. Now I don't know how that's going to change, like maybe you can only go on your area, I don't know, but I like the concept. It's almost bringing one of those Chinese lazy Susans actually into the game, which is quite a cool concept. It looks like there's some nice chunky, I mean it's Kickstarter part, right, so there's probably maybe it's cardboard in a normal version, but some nice wooden little pieces to actually put down on the tiles as you're building. It looks like lots of workers and different things going on. These look like sort of objective cards. I like having objective cards where it's like, certainly if it's like you don't know exactly what your opponent's going for, but maybe partway through you can guess. Either way, it's that central board that's really got me interested. I mean, it looks visually interesting. Let's leave it there. It looks interesting, and I just wonder how that central board really works. It's one I'm anticipating could be a lot of fun. And last but not least is Verdant. Might not have pronounced that correctly. The reason this one makes the list, and to be fair, it probably should have made my original list, is Cascadia is brilliant. I didn't like Calico too much. I thought it was too restricting and too mean almost, in terms of you could take the perfect tile that your opponent was waiting for and that's screwed them over because they needed that one tile. Cascadia almost reverted completely the other way. Instead of being restrictive, it was you could expand out in any direction, and I like that much more. You constantly had the options of, well, I can put that tile anywhere and it could be good for me. Calico, it was much more, I need this tile for this space, otherwise it's not worth my time putting a tile there. Didn't like that too much. But this is seemingly like a third in the series. It's obviously not the same. This is gardening theme. Let's have a look at some pictures. Artwork by Beth Sobel, so it's going to look very nice. And again, I've played 10 Tussie Mussy, which is about flower arranging and stuff like that. I'm not really invested in flowers and plants, but it's a generally nice theme. It's it's relatively underused style of game, and it sounds like very much like they're using that same mechanism as in Cascadia, where you take two things, like a pair of two things. So in this case, you take a card and a decoration token, a bit like in Cascadia where you took a tile and you took then a wildlife token. I liked that options because that small market gave you choice. Certainly at 2 players you could still be tactical and know what they want or know what they need, but you could still kind of do your own thing, and sometimes you could trade in one of those acorns to take basically whatever you wanted pairwise, and that was some, just allowed that little bit of nicety. Hopefully there's something like that in this, because that worked really well, and it looks like just a pleasant game that you could just play, but has enough depth to it where it's like you want, next to this card you want these decorations, you want this, or you want that. And I think that it looks really good. And while I don't like Calico, I can see why it was a good design, and I can see why people would enjoy it. Cascadia was really enjoyable for me, and I like getting that to the table. That's even with new players, and I think this could be one of those style of games again. So that's Verdant, and that was one of the recommendations by Z. And as I say, realistically, this should have been just on my my list from the very beginning, because I knew about it loosely. I think maybe at the time I hadn't played much. I think I'd played Cascadia maybe once, so I think maybe that's influenced my decision. Now I've played Cascadia more because I was reviewing it. I think I've enjoyed that game more, whereas I was maybe coming in from I've enjoyed it once, but I didn't like Calico much. Now I know how much I enjoyed Cascadia. This out of these 5, I think is the one I'm most excited to play. But let me know in the comment section below, what have you what maybe on that Dice Tower top 10 anticipated list, or recently what have you found out about that you didn't know at the start of the year? Because let's be honest, we've not hit convention season yet, and that is when all of the games come out, convention season or just before Christmas, because they want to get in that holiday window. A lot of big games want to do that. So what game have you just recently found out about that you really want? Was it one on this list? Was it something that no one's talking about? Let us know in the comment section below. Until next time, have a great day gaming, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.